The NBA is a star-studded league with new talent joining the association every year. Some are big and athletic, some shoot the skin off the ball, and others are just jacks of all trades. Today's video, we discuss the 5 best players under 25 in the NBA. The key word here is under, so guys like Luka Doncic, who just turned 25, will not be on this list, even though he'd be at number 1 if anyone is counting. Speaking of counting, we're less than 100 subscribers away from 3,000, so if you're new here and enjoy NBA content, please be sure to consider hitting that subscribe button as we are on the road to 3,000. Without further ado, let's get straight into this video with number 5, Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese is a fan favorite who is slowly becoming an enemy in the eyes of some fans. Mostly these fans are Knicks fans, to be fair. However, Reese has featured on JJ's podcast many times, and I've watched them all enough to know that I do like how he acts on the court. He really is a student of the game, and on the court, his game sort of speaks for itself. A huge majority of last season, some people were comparing him to the likes of point guards, Chris Paul, Steve Nash, you guys get the point, John Stockton even. And this comes from the Pacers' early season success. Even before the acquisition of Pascal Siakam, the Pacers looked very solid. They did very well in the in-season tournament, and Reese was averaging at 1 point 24 and 12 during the season. The issue with this last season for Tyrese was the fact that he was clearly trying to mitigate or pretend like an injury wasn't affecting him on his hamstring and meet that threshold of 65 games just to ensure that he makes some extra money this offseason. Had he rested more, he may have played better and earned some money, but not as much money as an All-NBA or an All-Star or a 65-game extension. I mean, we're talking about $20 to $30 million he would have missed out if he played less than 65 games. He had a month where he shot 12% from 3, and for him especially, that is not very normal. With averages of 21 points and 11 assists with nearly 2 steals a night, it's no secret how he ends up on this list as high as he does. The Pacers are also coming off an Eastern Conference Finals berth. They were swept, but it was a lot closer than people think. I would like to compare it to the Pacers and the Miami Heat back when LeBron and Paul George were battling. Hopefully they will have a fully healthy go next season. Obviously they played the Knicks that were very banged up, but I am a firm believer that you play who is in front of you. At number 4, we have Victor Wembanyama. This is an interesting spot for Vic, but then again, he's a very interesting player, so I guess it's only right. Some people could have Victor as low as 10, some people could have them as high as 1. The issue with putting him at number 1 is we would be doing that purely on speculation, not what they've done thus far. If Victor tore his ACL next season, and then his MCL the season after, and then his Achilles the season after, which I really hope doesn't happen, we would never be having this conversation about him being the best player under 25. So who's to say that he would even return from injuries as good as he is now? Well, not me, not you, not anyone, because injuries and projection are a part of the game, but they are not a part of this list, because this list is ranking them where they currently lie. And where Victor currently lies is the 15th seed in the Western Conference on a minutes restriction until his team can get enough competent pieces to compete. Now, with that being said, they did acquire Harrison Barnes, Chris Paul, they still have Devin Vassell, they have Keldon Johnson, Trey Jones. They have a lot of decent pieces now, and I could actually see Victor playing 35 minutes a season, maybe even competing for that play-in spot. It's going to be very scary for all other teams to see Victor sort of fully unleashed, but aren't we lucky as fans to watch? In his rookie campaign, he averaged 21 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and nearly 4 blocks a night. He was unstoppable and arguably the most impactful defensive player in the NBA. We will check in next year to see where he ranks. I have a feeling it's going to be higher than 4. At number 3, we have Paolo Banchero, an offensive Swiss Army knife who can rebound with the best of them and lead his team to success like the young Don that he is. Banchero's game is enjoyable beyond what he can do on offense. His energy is infectious to his teammates, and I love how he keeps the standard the standard. This last postseason, the Magic and Cavaliers went 7 games, and had Franz Wagner not crapped himself, we may see them in the second round, and that's no hate to Franz Wagner. I am a big enjoyer of his game. I'm just calling it as I see it. And to continue with that theme, Paolo was amazing in the postseason. He averaged 28 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and shot over 40% from the 3 in the postseason this year. Next year, I'm sure he's going to do even better. At just 22 years old and one of the least talked about number 1 overall picks, I'm very excited to continue to see how his career blossoms, especially because the Magic are still so young and they just got someone like KCP who can help alleviate some perimeter pressure for guys like Paolo, who gets a lot of his work done on the blocks. Not many people expected them to be overly competitive competitive this last season, but going into this year, they're definitely going to have a small target on their back. Not to mention, they have one of the best theme songs in the NBA. If you know, you know. A controversial selection at number 2 leads me to take Ja Morant. Now, hear me out, guys. I understand he did not play last season. He is 24 years old, so he does meet the criteria for this list. 2 of the last 3 seasons, Ja Morant was the 2 seed in the Wild Wild West, and that just says a lot. I'm not a big fan of Ja. I'm not entirely a big fan of his game, which is funny because I would assume some of that is just cope, because I am a huge Derrick Rose fan. I was a huge Derrick Rose fan. So seeing someone like Ja Morant succeed, I feel like you would either really like it or be where I fall, where you don't like it that much. And I think I don't like it just because of his off-the-court antics, but there's no denying that this kid is special. The one season, I think it was 2021 or 2022, he averaged 27 points a game and was in NBA MVP voting. And like I said, back-to-back 2-seeded seasons, extremely athletic, high flyer. It just disappoints me when he throws his career away off the court, because someone like Derrick Rose got his career stripped from injuries, while Ja Morant has every opportunity and has stayed very healthy. Other than the hand injury he suffered, he has stayed very, very healthy in his NBA career, yet we are seeing him kind of throw away his career. I enjoyed watching him at Murray State. He was very, very fun. I remember when he had the triple-double in March Madness, I just thought, wow, this kid is going to be amazing, just like everyone else did. And here he is, 4 or 5 years later, and he is amazing, and he's still so young. The Memphis Grizzlies are going to be sneakily very, very competitive next season. If you think about it, Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart, Jaren Jackson, and then if Brandon Clark can come back, Santi Aldama continues to be good, the Memphis Grizzlies are going to be a sneakily great team. And as for the last 3 seasons, if they were healthy, they were the 2 seed. So it's just something to just, put that in your pipe and smoke it and think about it. At number 1, we have Anthony Edwards, which I think honestly is equally controversial. I think Anthony let a lot of people down, including myself, in the back 9, if you will, of this postseason. Little golf reference. I think Anthony had a very solid start. He absolutely torched the Suns, which honestly felt a little bit personal. But then once you move on to Denver, yes, they won. They did win that in 7 games. But Jaden McDaniels scored 20-plus points 4 games in a row, and Anthony Edwards kind of struggled and just was very hit or miss in some of these games. I think he shot 20% in like a 4 or 5 game stretch that series, and then in the Mavericks series, maybe there was an injury we don't know about. But Anthony Edwards, I don't love the word, but he just has swag, his aura, whatever you want to say. He's talented, he's bouncy, great leader, very hungry to be the best and let you know about it too. Great pesky defender, can shoot the 3, moves well in transition, is not afraid to do the dirty work, is not afraid to yell at his teammates when they need to be disciplined. At 22, 23 years old, this kid is going to be phenomenal in the NBA for a very, very long time. But what do you guys think? What do you make of this list? Who is too high? Who is too low? And who is missing? I love you guys so much. Thanks for the support on the channel as always. Peace.